On today's episode of the Spiritual Badass Podcast, we have Brooke Hessenius, intuitive medium, massage therapist, and energy healer, and my amazing friend. And she gets to be in town. Well, she is in town where I live, so she gets to just come over and be on the interview. And we're going to talk a little bit about kind of massage therapy, switching from point work to energy work, and all of the good stuff that comes in between. Brooke, do you want to tell us what started your spiritual journey?
All right. So after I had my son, I went back to work and I was noticing like weird things, seeing pictures, colors, I don't know. And I got to talk to my first medium. She's like, "You're a medium." I'm like, "What?" She's like, do you get like images or like all of a sudden you get like these weird like phrases in your head?" I'm like, "Why I've always been a weirdo. I always like imagine like a movie scene in my head ever since I was little." She's like, "No, that's you're getting a message. It's either for your client or for yourself." I was like, "Oh, okay." So then I was like, "Oh, sweet, and I could do it." And then so I've been working on it since, and that's been about 7 years now.
Yay.
Yes.
I know, because we met at your massage place in Lamar's
Yeah.
5 years ago.
Yeah. So in September it'll be 4 years since I've lived in Mars. So
It must
yeah,
have been
5.
5 years ago. 5 years ago?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so in massage therapy, I know your approach is a little different. Obviously, you're my massage person, but how do you do how are you kind of switching? Because I know you're starting to learn even more about the body and pain points and pressure points and things. So how have you been kind of shifting that? Like,
So my one day, there was a week where my thumbs were really hurting and it was hard to do point work. So I'm like, oh, what am I gonna do if my thumbs break? Like, blow. You can blow out your joints when you do point work if you're not, if you don't take care of yourself, and if you don't like use energy to do the point work. So like when you use your energy flow into the point work, called chi, whatever. Um, and if you use force, the more that's gonna bother your thumbs and stuff too. So I was just so worried, but I just got my arms were just tight and pulling on my joint there. But then that got me to thinking, I'm like, I need to come up with something um to say, like, just in case, like when I get older. Because October will be 18 years since I've been a massage therapist. So and I do a lot of point work. Some days I have all point work. And so what I've been doing is like, I wonder if I can go in and think about the muscle. So there's an insertion and an origin. The insertion is where the muscle doesn't move, and then the origin is where the muscle does move. So if you can imagine how the muscle moves, so I put the hands on the body where I'll put one on where the insertion is, and then the origin. And then I imagine the energy going from one hand to the other, and then I imagine it going out of the body and away from me, so I don't absorb that. And so how I was getting people to kind of switch into from point work to energy work is I explain it to them. They're like, "Yeah, let's do this." And so it's a lot more soothing because point work can hurt. Some people have a hard time with it. So and sometimes people don't let you know if it's too much. And it's like you really read the body and stuff like that, and their body movements and stuff. So if so like sorry, I'm gonna move your hair. So yeah, so this is tight here. This is your trap. So what I would do is I would take my hand here, and then one here, and then just focus my energy through. And then sometimes I will apply a pressure down, and then I would go if I needed to. And then I'll wait. I'll either feel like a little pop when it releases, or I'll feel like that. how the energy shifted. Did you feel that little shift?
Mm-hmm.
And then or the temperature changes too in the muscle. So then we go back in and see how like it's not as like you're not
As tense.
yeah, but there's still some tightness in there. So then how I would do a massage session is if this was tight, I would release the lats first, but in energy work I would release this first and then I'd go into the lats.
So it goes down instead of.
Yeah. And then I've been working on a I'm having a brain fart right now, sorry. Let me finish this and then I will there we go. There's that energy shift. And then I've been working on a pole vaulter and I was talking to them about this and they're like, yes, let's do this. Because they're into meditation.
Oh, you said pole vaulter. I thought it was a machine. I didn't know it was a real person.
No.
Well, that makes a little more sense. I was like, how much do you have to spend on that? That sounds weird. Like I was thinking of weird science.
Oh no. No, an athlete.
Quick break in from your sponsor. So, Accelerated Intuitive is the amazing, perfect program for you if you are ready for that massive intuitive channeling connection to your abilities and spirit. Just really massive up levels. So, you want to take your clients to the next level. You want to understand past lives. You want to really connect your intuition and your abilities. Accelerated Intuitive is the place for you to be. Please let me know if you have questions about that. We'll schedule a call and we'll see if it is the right program for you. It will take you from really kind of feeling good, but to feeling fucking powerful and amazing in your abilities and what you do, what you have to offer the world. So let's head back to our interview.
And they went to Arizona for college and she pole vaulted there. And then now she's kind of pole vault here. So now I'm like, can I test on you? Because like there's muscles that are just like, how would I get those to release and stay? Like your psoas, your iliacus, your stuff like that, like the deep muscles. How would I do that? So like I was able to release her psoas in a way, and it was interesting, and then it was fun just to explore. And then so I see her next week to see how long it stayed. So like point work, you do point work, you're sore for a couple of days, and then it feels good. You feel good and ready to go. But I was wondering if like, are you sore the next day with point work and all this different stuff? But what I've been seeing is by explaining how this can change, they're more into a meditative state. They're like, after a session, when I do a mix, they're in this different world. I have to give them water, get them to sit down, and I'm like, wait until you come back to earth.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, it's kind of interesting how like, yeah, point work will get them to that state, but I noticed that it was a really more of a deeper state, I feel too. So
it's like letting the soul release. I mean, when I think about the massage, like you do cupping or when you pop that valve or whatever, like I like the pain part of it because it just, to me, the more painful it is, the deeper it. Like I feel like my body just is like a tense mofo. So I think
that's what I was.
It's that harsh state, of I expect it and I like it, but it probably is, like we were talking about ahead of time, a little bit more traumatic.
Yeah. So like if you think about it, I have some fibromyalgia clients. So I have some of those come in for point work because they need a different kind of pain. I have some fibromyalgia that's not like the point work, but they like the whole body fluff, the flow, because they can't handle more pain.
Well, because it would probably exacerbate if they're having a flare up.
So like the one that likes the point work, if I do the full body, it flares her up. So if I do the point work, it doesn't flare her up. So this last session I did with her this week was I did a mixture. I did some energy work and then some point work. I wanted to see if it would, I told her just to kind of let me know if it
release more inflammation
or if it caused some. So like if it caused her to like have an episode, then we'll stick with point work for now. I just for my future, I just want to really like make sure I can have something and do that. So my next question is, okay, so if it released at that moment in time in that session and it comes back, what does that mean? Does that mean is there emotion in that? Where's the next step? Do I check that meridian there and see if it's that organ, that meridian that's connected to that organ, and stuff like that? So
when we were doing a lot of Akashic work too. So have you been noticing a lot more past life stuff with the different, I mean, I know you're always using energy work in your intuitive, but
yeah.
Are you noticing, since Brooke's in my accelerated intuitive class where we do Akashic work, but you see that that's coming up more, like, ooh, it's not releasing, but I think it also has you know what I mean? Like
I do
past life
contingency.
contingency.
I do when it's someone I know that's into intuitive. So like if it's not, I just do energy work and I don't allow that to, but maybe when I get more comfortable, maybe then that's when I will be able to be like, hey, past life.
I mean, and you could just bring it in like, I'm shifting my practice a little bit. I'm using more energy, which means more past life,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if I see some of that, do you want to know about it? Do you want me to clear it? What, you know what I mean? You could just kind of ask them and just see, maybe they'll be like, oh, I don't know. I never, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they might have.
I did have a client and I worked on, and I knew that they weren't, but receptive. It was very strong. It was a very strong thing. And I was just like, Spirit, can I do this without their, talking to them? And they said yes, because they gave me permission to work on them because they're on the table anyways. So I was like, okay, allow me to like release this. And it did bring me to a past life. And so I did clear that for this person, and I just didn't say anything, but also didn't really feel comfortable too. But like, I was like, okay, if it needs to happen.
Okay, Spirit, that's stretching the line just a little bit.
Yeah, I go, if it needs to happen, then I'll do it. But it's just like, I'd rather have someone like know what's happening, know what's gonna, like, because when you do cut the cords, you do a past life, it can bring up emotions the next week or 10 days, 7 to 10 days. So, because like when you do energy work, it sticks with you for quite a bit.
And the more that people lean into the energy work too, you know what I mean? The more that they have faith in it, then the more their body can sustain they could last a month between sessions with you, versus if they didn't believe in it very much, they probably have a hard time even receiving it while you're doing it, or releasing.
My favorite thing is I'll work on someone and do massage. Like I was doing the energy work this week, and I was just like, it released, but part of it didn't release. And I'm like, why didn't it all release? And then it showed me I needed to move one hand underneath to that back of to the back. I was like, oh. And then once I did that, it released. I was like, okay. So it's like spirit still, my spirit team or their spirit team is helping me guide me into where I need to go. So that's why I'm like, okay, so I'm getting more comfortable with this. So I wonder if they're going to show me more deeper ways so I don't have to do point work. So like I had a session yesterday where I explained to her, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this, but if it doesn't release, then I'm going to go in and do point work. So I'm still like, feel like I wanted her to be comfortable. I wanted her to see the energy work, but I think it also has to do with, she needs to believe too.
Yeah. They have to have faith.
But the person on the table has to believe as well. And I don't think she really believed. Like
and you can feel when they don't. Like you feel the resistance. Like they're like.
So what I did is I'm like, feel this. You know how ropey it is. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do energy work. I'm gonna release that psoas there. And then after I did that, I go see how like it's less ropey. She's like, yeah, but I'm like, but you still have like a bow. So I'm like, she didn't totally believe, so she didn't totally release.
Yeah.
So then I went in and did the rest. So I was like, I go, okay, since we did the energy release and release that muscle for so much, it shouldn't be as triggering, because this one I always have to fight for her to like relax.
Let go. Do you think she's holding on to trauma there?
Yeah, she has a lot of trauma.
She doesn't want to let go. So what I really notice with people in getting them I'm not a trauma therapist. I've said this many times, but when we're working on people, healing, clearing past life, whatever it is, people don't know what to do if they aren't in their current state. Like
Yeah.
they've been in the trauma space I lived in it for 39 years. I didn't know who I was without it. So what I see a lot is there's so much fear of, okay, well, if I don't have this, well, who am, you know what I mean? Like what's possible. And it's almost scarier to think about, not having your traumas than it is to just live with the burdens of them,
Mhm. Yes, definitely. I'm still looking for mine, so it's all good.
I think healing is it's lifelong anyway, but
Yeah,
but we're consciously working on, you know what I mean? We're consciously always.
seems like I've been working on it forever.
It was really interesting last night. I'll have to tell you about the weird layers that I came across, but it's and that's something that's become a lot lately is layers, trauma layers. Like it's like we feel like we work through and do all this stuff and then it comes up again, but it's coming up in a different form. But Spirit's like, because you can't release all of these things at once. We bring them up as you're ready to actually process and release them. And so it's like, so what Spirit keeps saying is it's not that you're not healing or clearing or doing all of the work. It's just some stuff is embedded so deep, so many lifetimes deep that you have to go through some layers. So I had to clear a lot of layers last night. And it was weird because I've never cleared layers like that before. It's usually like a layer. They always show an onion, like blooming onion, like a layer. But this one was like literally all of these layers melting off of me like acid. I was like, what the fuck? And, at the end, it was like literally there was nothing left but my bones. And I'm like, alrighty, now what?
No,
And
we
they're like,
gotta rebuild.
yeah,
Let's
basically.
get some clay.
Basically, like make me better, way thinner, healthier,
Muscular. I want
yeah.
a six
I want
pack.
like a pack of something under here.
Yes, me
Not a
too.
roll and not a muffin top.
I want to show that I like my stretch mark. That's great. That's why I had kids. But do I need to have this pooch?
Yeah, it's not right. It shouldn't roll over my underwear. I don't give a fuck who you are.
I know these people. I have a friend that has had 3 kids and she's skinny as a rail and doesn't hardly have any stretch marks. I'm like, your genetics awesome. I'm just
Those are the skinny fat people.
Yeah.
They're probably more likely dead inside because they're really unhealthy.
Oh.
Frank had a friend. I mean, unfortunately, he passed away of another reason, but we always said that about him. He was so skinny and ate like shit, but it was like there's no way that his insides are healthy, you know what I mean? But so with energy work and so are you starting to use more Reiki, more light language, and just more spirit then, your team, their team? And
yeah, when I know that they are into that, I'm like, okay, I know they're into this. So let's power this up.
so you're gonna move shops. So are you
am.
gonna kind of up that? You know what I mean? Are you gonna
I'm hoping so, because the one that I'm going into, and they're intuitive as well.
Okay.
And which really helps too.
a different environment when the whole environment and where you're at now, they are to me they're very open.
Yes,
Like they're very
very
natural,
open.
very open.
Yes.
But I think you move into a new spot, it's going to give you
and
another opportunity to open more. Like when you went there, you got to be way more open. Now you get to be even more open.
So I think what's going to help is like I get to see the sun, because right now I'm in the basement, and I think maybe that has something to do with it too. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, get to see the sun. I'm really, yeah. I think that's the number one thing why I chose to go, because like the sun. I didn't know how important seeing the sun during the day is. So I'm really busy.
It is different. Usually I'm downstairs in the basement and I have that tiny window, but
yeah,
I don't really realize how many days I go without really going outside. And then like being up here now from surgery is kind of like, it is nice to like
to see the sun,
have sunlight, you know?
Yeah, some weeks I do 27 hours and I do, it's like 15 to 27 sometimes. So I do a lot and I'm down there all day.
Ugh.
So I don't get to see the rain. I don't get to see what's going on outside.
So like I know with my Reiki and body parts and what they're called and what they're supposed to do. I just kind of see body parts and they tell
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like even though I don't do as much traditional, like I attune people, I've attuned you for Reiki, but
Yeah.
I don't use traditional Reiki as much anymore, but that's kind of how I always see it. Like
Yeah.
spirit will just put me like,
Put you in,
remember
and then-
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
Yeah.
They'll like put me in the blood system, or they'll like put me in a spot in the body, or they'll show me a disturbance, or so I think the more that you lean into it, the easier it's going to be to just, and plus where everything is supposed to go and what everything's supposed to do. I'm kind of like, oh, I'm pretty sure there's like a kidney on the side, or
there's so many different energy work though too. There's there's the myofascial release, there is the zero balancing, there's Reiki, there's quantum touch, there's Jinshin.
Do you combine them all, or what do you?
Like I know Jinshin, zero balancing, Reiki, and I've learned a little bit of. There's kinesiology too.
Mm-hmm.
So like I learned a little bit of kinesiology.
You ever thought of doing acupuncture?
No, I do acupressure.
Okay. I've done acupuncture a couple times, a little Chinese.
Like get it done to me. I've done
no,
it. I
like
got it
you
done.
do it.
I don't want to do it because that's 7 years of school.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
I looked into it. It's 7 years of school.
Never mind.
And I don't have 7 years to give right now.
That's a long.
I'll be 38 in September, so.
No, never mind.
Good. 7 years of another. No, I'm good. I'm good.
Just shock.
I'll just do acupressure. It's good. You can do the same thing with acupressure as you could do with acupuncture. You just can't go puncture it, and you know how you leave the needle there. You just hold your thumb there. But
yeah.
And then there's TCM, which is traditional Chinese medicine. There's the Harari chart, and then like the element chart that tells you what yin yang organs, and then like you can test to see if one's work, like one has more energy and which one has less energy, and you want to balance them, and it's a lot. Yeah. So
you feel it's just all starting to kind of meld, like
I think so. Like
and spirit. I mean, your brother's always there, but
yeah.
Just do you think it's just all starting to kind of meld now that you're like, this is what I want to focus on?
Yeah. So now I'm more open to it, because I was like, I didn't understand any of it. I was like, I don't understand.
Like, why am I seeing this? I don't know what's happening inside their fucking body. What am I supposed to do about it?
This, and then it's like, now I'm tasting people's medicine, and now I'm just like, what the heck? Yeah. So like a client yesterday, all my tongue started feeling numb. I'm like, what medicine are you on? And she told me what's going on. And I was just like, ugh. And she's like, well, I took my last dose on Sunday. I don't have to take any more. I'm like, good, because your body does not like this one.
Steroid?
And yeah, she's been on an antibiotic for something. I can't remember.
Say it sounds like H. pylori. The fucking antibiotic for that is brutal.
Have you seen House Bunny?
Mm-mm. Yeah, it's been a long time.
At the end when she's myosoleucid or something, it reminded me of that. Whatever that one, myosin, and I can't remember, but it's something similar to that one. And then I was just like,
yeah, because I almost taste tin when you said that. I was like, bleh. It reminds me of when I had to do the protocol for H. pylori.
Okay.
It was fucking horrendous.
Myosynthesis something.
Synthesis?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I'll have to rewatch that. That's a funny movie. But yeah, so I've been tasting people's medicine, and then I'll start feeling like emotions, and I'm like, this is not me.
Yeah. It's easy to, when you keep, your energy space really clean, it's really easy to know, like, ooh, you're saying shitty things. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's that instant, like, ooh, but as you're releasing, you're probably getting a whole flood of emotions.
Yeah. So when you massage and that happens, you just keep one toe up, so you're not like a vessel. You want to be able, or like a grounding rod. You want to be a vessel because you want it to flow in and out, not flow and stay.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like that. So how do you think you're gonna keep shifting it? I know, what was the machine you were wanting to do?
Oh, I want to do the thermal wellness machine. So that is still in my plans. It's an electrode machine, and there's these trays full of vials, and then you like just use your energy and ask if you need it, and it'll either say yes or no, and you put it on this little tray thing, And once you get all through the vials that you need to go, the trays that you need to go, there's like metals, there's allergies, there's food allergies, there's fears, there's metaphysical fears, there's you can check your chakras, like seasonal allergies. There's all this different stuff that we don't think about that is affecting us. It's not going to get rid of it, but it's going to lessen that trigger, lessen that tie to that whatever's going on.
Do you think it's more the recognition that it's happening so that like you can
so
almost just allow yourself to release it? Because if you don't know, you're holding on to it.
So what helped with me, because I was having that bladder stuff, and it's fear-based, and I didn't feel safe. So that's why I was having that stuff. And so with what we're doing in class, plus doing that has helped a lot.
Help bring to light, like, ooh, I think I need to look at this in my past life, or you know what I mean? Is it coming easier? Like, ooh.
So then, like, the vials have names, and so I was able to figure out, to take a vial of that and be like, is this? And then sometimes it would be like past life. I'm like, okay, let's go to that past life and see if we can cut. So that kind of helped me realize, because sometimes I can't sit there and be like, bring me to a past life for this. I don't know. I just I don't know. I have a hard time healing myself. But that's me. That's something I need to work on. Is doing energy work on me is important too as healing others too. I need to put myself in there too.
Well, sometimes when it's for yourself, you're just like, where do I start? You feel like a shit show sometimes, and you're like, what do where the fuck do I start? Like, is anything even gonna help? You know what I mean? Seems like it's so much harder to do stuff on yourself, but that is one thing I noticed. Like, if you have even an inkling or a heads up, like if you're working on somebody and you just get like, oh, and then like I know for like, ooh, I gotta, you know what I mean? You have to do something like that for you, but a lot of times it's even that recognition. So like you saw all the vials and you're like, ooh, fuck, I had no idea. But it gives you that like opportunity to be like, okay, well, it is affecting me. So what do I do? You know what I mean? Like,
I had a lot of vials the first time. And I went through and did some and then I cleared some for past life. And when I went back, she's like, man, your vials really cleared really quick. She's like, I'm like, so I told her, I was like, I'm doing this. She's like, oh, that's awesome. And then this whole thing with, my last time I went, I had a lot going on. I was very heavily stressed. And so now I have a lot more vials again. And so then I was going through them, and so there's some that
did they release pretty quick though?
They did. And
feels almost like a cortisol, like, you know what I mean? Like a high stress, and then it just kind of.
And then there's like 3 that haven't cleared. I've been going 3 times and they haven't cleared. So I'm on one. I gotta work on that one, and it's like a soul contract. So I've been trying to figure out how to clear that right now, and I haven't made time for it. They've showed me what I need to do. I just haven't done it. So, and this machine is very spendy. And so I need to figure out, I gotta figure it out. I'm figuring it out. It's a 2 to 5 year plan.
Cool. It is cool though. I mean, sometimes it's just that heads up. I mean, for me, it's always that heads up, like, oh, and then it's almost like kind of like we talk about when we do past life work. Sometimes you just need to recognize it and you can like let it go or reactivate your gifts, or you know what I mean? So it's almost like you're not shooting in the dark, like just randomly trying to heal shit all the time, like you have the deer in the headlights. You're like, ooh, now I can check that out. Or, okay, let's just clear all the lifetimes with this bullshit. And then, then it's like, you can release it.
And you think energy work, I was gonna, you think you just put people are saying like, you just put people hands on, you just probably falling asleep. I'm like, actually, I'm more awake when I do energy work. I feel like, because I have to really focus. I have to feel it shift. I have to feel all this stuff with point work.
And plus, you got to take in whatever the body's telling you. Like, a lot of times, like when I do traditional Reiki, I'm not doing all the things you do, but like when I would do Reiki, or even now, just the way that my stuff works, it's like they're, telling me everything that's happening. Oh, okay, well, this is, you know what I mean? So you're just getting so much from the body, from spirit, from your team, from their team. From their mind, their body, their soul. There's a lot you got to like process in those moments. Like I always tell people in my sessions, if it's like quiet, I'm processing, I'm thinking, I'm asking.
Oh, I got all these messages.
I like to call it like dodgeball. It's like dodgeball. Balls in the face. Just got to figure it
Yeah.
all out.
And then you hear something really weird and like, is that really
Yeah.
what you said?
Or a weird guy comes through and you're like, ooh, what the fuck do you want? Who
You
are
feel
you?
Weird.
Why
Do
is
you
a giant horse trying to help me figure this out? It's
Do
like,
you belong here? I don't know.
oh god.
I had this one come and it was like this muddy, murky,
The
tarry
swamp monster.
thing. Yeah, and it had like it's like this.
The roots on the head.
Yeah, roots on the head, and then the eyes.
Yeah.
And then black. It was
Yeah.
black and murky. And I'm like, are you good? Are you safe? Because you know, some dark stuff is, you know,
Yeah.
comes to be, and you're scared of dark because you feel it
Yeah.
is bad. But and it was just there. So I don't know. I don't know if it was part of the person I was working on. I know that.
Just a protector.
Yeah. I was just like looking at it. I'm like, I don't care if you're here. If you're here for this, you're for her or him or whoever. I can't remember who it was. I don't mind if you're here. Just don't bother me.
Keep your swampness to yourself.
Yeah. Like, I'm like, I don't mind you here. Just don't touch me. You can touch your client if you belong to her. The person that's on the table. I'm like, not me.
So unless you're gonna give me like pretty skin or
Yeah, right.
melt some inches off,
Yeah.
spa like swamp monster.
Swamp monster.
Oh.
Swamp man.
So how do you think with the energy, do you think you'll kind of move away? Like we were kind of talking about like using crystal, you know what I mean? Like using
Yeah.
crystals, or do you think you'll keep?
I really do want to save my body. So maybe eventually I will probably switch it out just to energy work.
Do you think you'll keep cupping? How do you feel about cupping?
I could do that. And then massage the legs.
Are you doing anything different with
Or-
energy and cupping?
So I did cupping, was it last week or this week? I did cupping on his back and then was working on his legs and I could not get him to release. So I was like, so I talked to him about it. Yeah. So I can't get your hamstrings to release. Is it okay if I use and he's like, yeah, it's for it. So I did it and I released his hamstrings. Finally relaxed and whatever. And I got to the other one and it felt so weird. And I'm like, did you hurt this hamstring? Because it feels odd. He's like, yeah, I tore it in like 3 different places.
Eesh.
And then I'm like, so I had to do like my hands in different positions and then I had to move the top hamstring to the side and get kind of like, so I used this hand to like knife into it a little bit and then apply pressure and then somewhere else. And it released a little bit, so I kept this hand here and I just kind of moved this hand to different spaces. And so, yeah.
And it helped? Did he feel it kind of released?
Yeah,
too?
he released. And so what was funny is when he was done, you could tell like
he was hesitant to say that it worked.
No, he was gone. Like he was not on Earth. His
like, ooh.
He was out. And I could tell he's gonna be out for a while. And I go, you need to sit down, wait about 10 minutes, drink some water. Because you are not on Earth.
So he really needed the energy.
Yeah. So like, because sometimes I do cupping and it does do it. Like you can tell that they're not on Earth, but you can totally tell when you do a mixture of energy work and then like the point where like it really brings you out.
Do you think some of that tension then was like past life? Since he was so out of it?
I was feeling that he has a lot of like tension that he's been holding, like
Yeah.
stuff from his life.
Like tensing up. Like
yeah, I didn't feel like it was past life or anything. So that's good. But he has a lot more. By doing that, I probably should have done his calves. But I ran out of time.
Probably good you didn't. If he's already.
Yeah. It's like I was like, I don't know. I worked on a guy for 3 hours. 3 hours. Well, I should say 2.5 because we were at the last half hour and he's like, I can't do it. I'm like, why? He's like, I'm feeling nauseous. It's like, okay. Okay. So when he came out from that 2.5, because I let him lay on the table for a half hour, and he came out and he looked like he was not on earth. But this person that only worked on for an hour with the cupping, he was more out than the person I worked on for 2.5 hours.
It's like, it's what I'm getting is like it was such an energetic release. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he let himself
Mhm.
not release in the
He let
release way, but he let
it
his
go.
soul like finally let the tension go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with the cupping, you can feel the tension leaving. With
Yeah.
the energy, you have to allow it to leave. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because you can't force it. You have to allow, and then so like I will, to distract people too. You can just ask them questions or make a joke or whatever. I do that with point work too, just to like distract their brain. I'll either tell a joke or I'll ask them a question.
like, oh, take a breath.
Yeah, take a deep breath in and let it out. Yeah, so it's like, and then you have to keep making sure they're breathing too, and yeah.
Like, no, it hurts.
Breathing is very important. You can't should not hold your breath.
Okay, so what do you how can people find you? What do you have going on, and what do you want to leave people with?
Okay. How to find me is my business is called The Healer Within. You can find me on Facebook. I do have a app you can schedule me on. I can't do massages virtual. I wish I could, but I can't. I know, right? I can do energy work.
Wax on.
I can work on you with energy, cut cords, do past lives or whatever you need. You can schedule that on my app. I can do distantly. But yeah, if you're local, you can definitely make a massage appointment by going to my app. You can go to my Facebook page. I don't think you can. I think
Your link is on.
My link is on there. Okay. I was like, I'm trying to remember what I'm not really good with technology. I'm working on it. I'm getting
helped her set it up. It's on there.
So she helped me. I created my logo and she cleaned it up and made it all pretty. So that's good. What was the other question?
What do you want to leave people with?
So what I want to leave you with is not point work is great. It's something that if you feel like you need is awesome, but energy work, releasing it with energy work can also help as well. And it's if you don't like that intense work, energy work is great. So I'm hoping everyone's more like getting more of an open mind that we can switch from point work to energy work. It will do the same, but in a different mindset. There we go.
It's almost like if people don't feel the pain, they don't think that it's
gonna
work. You know what I mean? It's that
they want to feel the pain because they need to feel like it's working.
They know that if they feel the muscle crunch and soreness.
So like how I demonstrated how I get the muscle before, and then I did the energy work, and then I did it after. It kind of opens their minds like, oh my gosh, I don't need that pain to let things go. So that helps. So me demonstrating before, then understand and feel that muscle before I do it. It has helped a few people.
Good
to understand.
I'm excited that you're just embracing all that you already know and just like really leaning into it and shifting it and preserving the members.
Yes, I need these for thumbs ups and
heads up, 7 up.
Yep. And then there is a book that I use too called Metaphysical Anatomy. I can't remember who it's by. I have to look at again. But that's kick-ass. It's like if you something going on, you don't know what. Don't go on Google. Damn it. Go to the Metaphysical Anatomy. It will help get you to figure out what emotions you're holding in there, how you can release it. I'll have to look up who it's by and I can post it or something.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah. I want to check that out too.
Yeah. And it has a lot. And it's freaking amazing. Yeah.
Awesome. We hope everybody has a great week. And Brooke's links will be in the show notes. or whatever I post in there. But otherwise, I hope everybody has a good week.
Have a good day.
Bye. Bye. Let's see.